Hi, everyone. Come on in. I'm just going to wait a few minutes while everyone makes their way in. Go ahead and send me a chat in the chat. Let me know where you're from. I always like to see who we have visiting us. Massachusetts, hi. Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, SoCal. That's where I'm at. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are going to be learning about an amazing, magical, awesome product called UV Resin. And it comes in a little bottle like this, and it's like a clear goo, and you can use it to custom make plastic items. And so I'm going to do a little demonstration here of just what the product is, and then we're going to get you really down close to the action and show you how to use it. So this is the product. Let me take the cap off. This is sold at Michael's, and behind me you'll see the full program that's sold at Michael's. All of the products that we're using today are sold at Michael's. Please go and check it out. So first, let me bring this down just a little bit so you can see. I have a silicone mat here. This resin does not stick to silicone, so it's a great surface to work on. So this is just clear. I'm just going to put a little bead of it out here. It's just clear goo, and it stays in that liquid form until it's introduced to UV light. This, I'm going to push the button here. See that turn on? This is a UV light. You've seen these in nail salons, and this UV light causes the liquid to harden into plastic. And that process happens in just a few minutes. Your cure time with this is between maybe 2 and 4 minutes, depending on what you put in the resin, because you can put all sorts of fun stuff in there. Glitter, flowers, metal charms, beads, all sorts of stuff in there. All right, so this has been on there for maybe 30 seconds or so. I'm going to hit the button again to turn that off, and let's see what we have down here. So this was liquid just a minute ago, and now it is hard plastic. And this isn't fully cured. You do want to let it go for a couple minutes, but that is basically what it is. And I'm going to do another little demonstration here. I just have a little popsicle stick. I'm going to put a dollop of this on the popsicle stick, and then I have a glass of water. I'm just going to dunk this in the water, turn the UV light on, and the purpose of this demonstration is to show you that this product is not drying in the air. It's curing, and it will only cure when it's in UV light. Fluorescent light, incandescent light, these things don't affect it. Only UV light does. So as I'm waiting for this to cure, let's go through a couple safety things. So first of all, your work surface. Because this is so sensitive to UV light, you don't want to be working near an open window where that light's just kind of coming in, because your products that you're making will start to cure before you want them to. Second thing for safety, wear gloves, work in a ventilated area. Just all of the safety precautions that you'll find on our package, please read them, please follow them. We want you to be safe in using this product. A couple more notes about this UV light. So this, you just notice that it turned off by itself. This is on a self timer to come on for 1 minute, and then it automatically turns off. Your total cure time is between 2 and 4 minutes, depending on what you've put inside there. And now I'm going to take this out and show you that what was liquid just a minute ago is hard from being underwater in a completely airless environment, and now it is hard plastic. So this product is normally used with either molds or bezels, and today's class is all about molds. So I'm going to switch cameras to the other view, and I'll show you how to make jewelry with it. Okay, can you guys hear me over here? Yes, wonderful. Let me just, okay, so here's a selection of earring hoops and earring studs. And this shows a lot of different techniques in making these earring hoops and studs. We're gonna land on a few of them in this class, and hopefully you will walk away with all the knowledge you need to make custom hoop earrings and custom stud earrings. So I'm gonna move this to the side right now and show you what we'll be working with. So this is what it looks like in stores. This is a mold. This is a silicone mold sold at Michael's, and it makes 2 different sizes of hoop earrings and 1 size of studs. These little areas here are to make studs. Here's the back of the package, and it shows you what the mold makes. You'll also notice that inside the package, there are already these findings. These are the earring backs. Let me show you. These are the earring backs that you need to turn your plastic item into something that you can actually put through your ear and wear. And I'm going to show you how to do all of this. All right, so this is the mold that we're looking for here, and here it is out of the package. Now, this is a high quality silicone mold. You'll notice how clear it is. It's really important with UV resin that you're using a high quality silicone mold, because UV resin is all about the UV rays, okay? The UV rays being able to penetrate. So that's why you do not want to use, there are other silicone molds out there, like this candy mold. You don't want to use this. No, don't use it, because it won't cure right. It'll do weird things with your resin. So any type of opaque mold is a no-no for UV resin. I'm going to show you another mold here. This is also a clear silicone mold, but you can see how cloudy it is and how floppy it is. This doesn't make good jewelry. Jewelry is all about having a very detailed, finely designed piece that you wear on your body. So you want to make sure that it's a little more rigid. And we have lots and lots of mold options available for you at Michael's. This just happens to be our hoop mold that we're working with today. All right, so let's get started. So what do I have here on my work surface? I have this silicone mat. This is also sold in the program at Michael's. So I have the silicone mat. I have this. I have my lamp here that I'm going to pull into the shot. The lamp, let me show you the bottom of the lamp. See, those are 3 LEDs that come on and off as I hit this button. And the lamp is available in a couple different colors. This is what it looks like in the store. It's like a bridge style lamp. You can see there the hardware that this plugs into a USB. So that is generally like how you charge your cell phone. You can plug this into the USB on your laptop. Lots of different ways to plug this in and get power. Okay, so let's bring the camera down just a little bit here and show you different things, different ways for you to make these hoop earrings. Next thing I'm going to bring in is this silicone little cup. And I also have a wood stick. So these are included in a mixing kit that we sell. Here's the mixing kit. So you can see it has all of these things in it. So in this silicone cup, I'm going to mix up some resin. So here's my bottle of resin. I'm just going to pour it directly from the bottle. And I'm just kind of estimating how much I need to fill up one of these spaces in the mold. And now I'm going to add some tint to it. So we do sell tints. Where are those tints? There we go. Here are tints. So these are ways for you to colorize your resin. And I'm going to show you the blue tint today. And I can tell you that these tints, especially the blue color, are very, very intense. They're very concentrated. So I'm just going to put 1 drop in here. And I'm going to mix that up so you can see what that one drop turns into. All right, so it looks like this is making still slightly transparent, but a beautiful blue color. I would caution you from doing completely opaque colors or super, super dark colors. You know, once again, you're curing with the UV rays, and if the UV rays can't reach, it's going to mean longer cure times. So here is our blue. I could, at this point, I could add glitter. We've got tons of glitter that I could pour in there, but I'm just going to do the blue by itself for our first earring. And I'm just going to pour this in. The silicone cup is great because you can see I'm kind of squeezing it to really focus where that resin pours out. And I fill the mold all the way to the top. And I'm going to bring this really close to the camera so that you guys can see. You can see there, if there's any bubbles in there, what you can do is just pop them. Just kind of pop them against the side, or you can scoop them out. If you've used other types of resin in the past, like two-part resin, bubbling is really a problem. With UV resin, it's not so much of a problem, but just be aware because any bubbles that are in here are going to turn into a little air pocket when this is cured. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up and out of frame, and I'm going to look at the bottom of the mold. I just want to make sure there's no big air pockets that I didn't see, and there wasn't any. Okay, so we're ready to make a blue earring. So I bring my lamp over and we are going to start to cure that. I'm trying to keep this in the shot while we do this. So I'm going to let that go for a few rounds. Now, as I mentioned before, each time I hit this button, it runs for 1 minute. I'm going to let this go for at least 2 to 3 minutes. So now is a great time for me to answer some of your chat questions. I implore you, use the chat function. When you are speaking to us, you're speaking to the manufacturer of this product. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your experience with this. So Felicia, do we have any questions there in the chat that I can answer while this is curing?
Sure. I am seeing some questions trying to figure out when, what's the best way to add the studs to the resin?
Oh, to add the metal part that goes this?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate that. So after, okay, so you can see that this lamp already went off. I'm going to hit it again so it goes on for another minute. I'm going to show you that as soon as we pop this out. I'll show you that whole process.
And then there's a question in regards to the glitter.
Yes.
Does it have to be the UV resin glitter? Or is there a special glitter?
It's not a special glitter. Any type of glitter, from like real vintage glass glitter to metal flakes to polyester glitter, which is the most common thing out there, all of them work. You don't need anything special for this, but we do have really cool glitters in the program. Glitters that are more like, just pour some of these out, glitters that are more like flaky like this. This is a, oh, and of course it won't come out. Glitters.
So what
that,
I can do is I will put that in the chat just so they can see the different glitters.
Yep. So you can see these are like more glitter flakes. All right, I'm going to let this go one more time while I show you this item. It's called our Mega Filler Kit. So this has a great selection of different things for you to put down inside the resin. So here are those flaky things that I'm talking about. This is like a confetti. You've got your classic glitter, fine glitter, and then dried flowers are beautiful. I'm going to show you a piece made with dried flowers. These are little polymer clay slices, little fruits. How cute are those? And then some metal bits here and some pearls. So this is a great item if you want to like really explore this craft, because it gives you a little bit of everything. Okay, so let's check on our hoop earring here. I'm going to kind of stop that early, and let's pop it out. as I'm popping this out, I see your question. Can you put photos in the resin? Yes, you can. I'll show you a little bit about that before the class is over. Now you can see here, I don't know if you can see, I got a little bit like too much resin on the outside of that. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. But this is what it looks like when you pop it out of the mold. It's shiny, the edges are sharp. It looks great, except this little bubble here. So I'm going to show you what to do in case you get a weird anomaly like that. I just have some little nippers here, and I'm going to try to just nip that off like this. Okay, and if I can't, I can also go in with a nail file, kind of file that. You do want to file wet, so I would dip this nail file in water, just kind of file that. If you have any little burrs along the side, you can just kind of knock it down with a file. Okay, and so this is what you're left with. All right, so let me show you how we turned that into an earring. So we've got two parts. We've got the earring and then the earring back. All right, I'm just going to put them both together just to make it easy. You can see it has a flat pad there. That flat pad is going to glue onto, well, you can put it on this edge or you can put it on this edge, depending on which side of this earring you want facing out, because you do want a left side earring and a right side earring. So this is going to go here. Now, how do we do that? With more resin. You don't need to buy a separate product. You don't need to get another glue. We're just going to put a little dollop of resin out there. And then I'm going to dip the earring back in there and place it. Okay. And once I have this metal piece exactly where I want it, we introduce it to UV light, and that's going to lock it in. So I'm going to let this go about a minute. And then to make it extra secure, I'm going to put another like tiny little layer on there. Again, curing with UV light. So any of the resin that's underneath that pad is going to stay liquid. If the light isn't hitting it, it's going to stay liquid. So you really want to make sure that that the resin, that's why I dipped the finding in here. You want to make sure that it is all around that metal piece. All right, so I'm just kind of moving this around. I just want to make sure that all parts of it are getting touched by the light. Okay, let me turn that off and show you. That is on there. I'm like really moving it with this hand. It's really on there. If I was doing that at home, what I would do is I'd put another little dot out, use my wood stick to pick up just a little bit, and just make sure that all the little edges are covered, and then cure it again. Okay, so this is sort of the simplest earring approach. All we did was add tint, poured that into the mold. Can the metal parts be added later? Sure, you could make a bunch of these hoops and add the metal pieces whenever you want. Okay, Deanna, I see your hand up. I'm not sure what that means. Felicia, does Deanna have a question for us?
She would need to put it in the chat.
In the chat,
in order.
Okay.
Yes.
So Deanna, just go ahead and type out your question in the chat and I will answer it for you. Okay, so that's our first earring, is just a single color with tint. Okay, and I did the smaller earring. Let me show you the size comparison. So this is the smaller, it's a little bit over an inch. This is 1 3/4 inches. So, all right, so that's our first one. Second up, I want to show you how to work with glitter with this. So let me get a new silicone cup here. Put some resin in it. I'm going to put a little more resin because I'm going to make the larger hoop. And let's see, well, maybe not this. Let's do gold. So I have some gold glitter here. This came from our mega filler pack. So inside there, you get these little plastic containers that just hold everything. Robin's question, can you reuse the cups? Absolutely. I'll show you how to clean them out. They are meant to be reused. I'm just going to dump some glitter in there. How much glitter? As much as you want. I've actually not reached a point where it was too much glitter. So it just depends on how opaque you want the glitter to appear. I'm just mixing it up. If I wanted to, I could add a tint to this as well, but I'm just gonna use the glitter to kind of tint this. I saw a question come up. I didn't see who from, but I saw a question about stickiness after curing. Stickiness after curing, it does happen. And that happens because the whole piece is cured, but the outside, like very small amount of it from surface oxidation doesn't cure fully. My ultimate tip for avoiding that is just put it outside. I have not mentioned this yet, but UV rays are naturally found in sunlight, and I love to cure this in the sunlight. So if I'm crafting during the day, it's a sunny day, I will just put this whole mold outside, leave it outside for 5 to 10 minutes, and you get a beautiful deep cure. In fact, even when I'm curing with the UV lamp, what I like to do is cure it, then put it outside for a few minutes, and it just gets rid of any type of surface stickiness. Okay, so we've got our glitter here. I'm going to pour this into this hoop mold. And I'm going to, now I could fill this whole thing up with gold glitter, but I want, oops, and I went over there a little bit, but that's okay. I'll show you what to do. So instead of filling the whole hoop with gold, I'm actually going to fill this side with just clear, because I want to create like more of an ombre look where it goes from clear to gold. And I'm just making sure that this is filled to the top right now. All right. So here where the clear meets the gold, I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, stir that, agitate it a little. So we have an area that is kind of transparent glitter, and then we get down into the opaque glitter down here. Oops, I have a hair on my wood stick. Okay, so here's like my transition area. This that spilled out of the mold, we don't really need to worry about that. I'm just gonna move aside the part that's touching the mold, and I'm just going to cure it like that. When you're dealing with spills, sometimes the easiest way to deal with them is just to cure it, because then you just can peel that little dot off. All right, and this is ready to go under the lamp. Okay, so we have our second earring in the batch now. Do we have any questions from the group?
There's one question asking if you could speak about those that may wear clip-ons.
Yes. Okay, clip-on earrings they can't really be used with this particular mold, because the clip-on part is wider than this. You only have about 6 mm by 4 mm space there to add a metal part. Clip-ons tend to be a little bit bigger than that. So I wouldn't suggest trying to make these hoops in a clip-on style. However, there are plenty of earrings that you can make that will work with clip-ons. And I'm going to show you, while this one's going, I'm going to show you another mold. And this one's been well used by us. Let me put this on again. This is a great mold, and this actually is exclusive at Michael's. You will not find this anywhere else, but this is a wonderful mold for making all different kinds of earrings. So you've got sort of these bars and the toppers here. So let me show you a final earring that came out of this mold. So here we use this circle topper, and this teardrop shape. We molded them separately, and then we just joined them with the jump ring, and we added our little stud on the back. Okay, so this would make as a clip-on earring a little more easy. So you would add the clip-on finding to the back in the same way that we added this. Okay, and I'm going to show you some more pieces made from this mold. While this is going, I want to talk about what can you put in resin and what can't you put in resin. I already talked about glitter. I talked about dried flowers. These are some dried flowers that we have. I'm going to show you those next. Candy. These are rainbow sprinkles. We have put rainbow sprinkles in there. We have put paper in there. Let me show you paper. This is just a little block of resin, and it has a picture of these little cuties in there. And you can see that that is just printed out. It was printed out on our office printer and then just put down inside of the resin. We did not prep this paper in any way. You'll see a lot of tutorials online saying you have to prep the paper with Mod Podge, but we found that Mod Podging it first or just putting a piece of paper in the resin really works the same. It will make your paper slightly transparent. You can see as I slide my finger behind it, it's a little transparent, but that just comes with the territory of getting the paper wet in the resin. It makes it slightly transparent. Okay, so now this has gone for 2 or 3 rounds. Let me take this out and show you. I feel like I kind of demolded the other one really quickly, so I'm going to do this one slowly. Our spill, here's how easy it is to clean up. It's gone now. Oh, it's gone. And here is our earring. You can see the back of the earring as well. Can you put fresh flowers? Is a question that just came up. Thank you for your question. We have found that when we use fresh flowers, it just doesn't work as well. The resin can kind of leave a watermark on the flowers that just isn't pretty. So we do suggest using dried flowers. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this out of the mold. You can see how easily it comes out. I don't have to fight to get this out of there. And this is what we're left with. So you can see it has that ombre effect. So here is my little earring back. Now I can choose to put the ombre effect by where it will touch my ear, basically, or leave the ombre on the open and put this on this side. All depends on what you want. I happen to like it like this. So let's do that. Put a little drop of resin. I keep putting new resin on this silicone because every time I use the lamp, see my old drops of resin, they get hard. All right. Oops, nope, not with the wood stick. We're going to take the metal finding, dip it in the liquid, center it where we want it to go. Oops, oh, it will slide off. This is liquid. Okay, lock it in place. So we're locking it in place with the UV light. And let that go for about a minute here. The next earring we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do stud earrings in the same way.
Stephanie, while you're letting that cure, what type of paper were you using for your pictures?
That was just regular copy paper that printed out on our office copy machine. I've also done ones from my home copy machine, which is a LaserJet printer. Both of them worked the same, and we didn't use any special paper or ink or really anything with that.
Okay, and then there was one other question asking about, could the outside of the earring be painted with paint?
Absolutely. You can use this as a base for painting. You could even sandwich the painting in between. We have, if I could find, we do have a made up here that we did with some painted areas on it. Actually, I'll show you this. This is a little, this is a little charm that we made. Here's the front of it. So we put, it's just clear resin, and we put this flower in there. And then after we popped it out of the mold, we just took some nail polish and went like, just 2 quick little swooshes. But look how pretty and artistic that looked. So that's another material you can use. This is just regular old nail polish. Okay. All right, so now we've made 2 different earrings. And I'm going to show you some more examples using those techniques that we just did. So this is another example. This uses black glitter. This is the black glitter. You can see we just kind of like sparsely placed the glitter in there. So you get that, I don't know, slightly like cow print effect. Here's another glitter we use. This is like a chunky glitter. You can see it gives you just a whole different look. This is one where we use glitter and tint and use the ombre technique. And here was tint and glitter again together. Tint and glitter, and same thing. I really like this one. It's like this gray iridescent. It looks so pretty in person. Here there's some confetti. This is like a holographic alphabet confetti that's in there. I'm going to show you one other thing. This one we haven't put the finding on, but we use alphabet beads and just put them right down inside the mold to spell out a person's name. Very cool. Before we do the last earring, I'm going to show you some more examples because this product is so versatile. Here we put little crystal beads inside. This bar shape comes from this mold. So this is this bar shape, and that has just like glass faceted beads inside of it. We took a piece of chain and put it down inside the resin. Here we took some pearls and made a little line of pearls inside the resin. Here we put some seed beads. We just sprinkled those in. Here's our little candy sprinkles. I love the way this looks. It's like party time. This was from Christmas, but you can see how we use the alpha beads again in there with glitter. Here's some little flaky ombre. Okay, so you can see probably so many items that you have in your craft stash today can be used in resin. Here's another one. These are little, they're called bullion, glass bullion or micro beads. The question from Robin, thank you, is how do you use the jump ring? So the question really is, how do you take this and turn it into an earring? So let me demonstrate that for you. Bring this up a little bit higher. Okay, so this is a jump ring. All right, it's just a little circle of metal that has, I'm trying to keep this focused so you can see, it has a break in it up at the top. And so I use the pliers and position the pliers. Oh, Robin said, how did you get the hole? Oops, here, let me bring my mold in here. So this came out of here. You can see at the top that there's like a little silicone little peg. So that automatically creates the hole for you. Okay. If you don't have a hole in the mold where you want, we have a little hand drill and you can drill a hole wherever you want along this. But let me just quickly show you how the jump ring works. So this is one of the basic building blocks of jewelry. I open the jump ring by twisting it like that. Okay. So now this jump ring is open. Let me open it a little further. So you always twist it open that way. You never go out. And then this, oops, this just goes through here. and then you close it in the opposite direction that you opened it. And now this has a jump ring at the top, and you would also add this to the jump ring. So that's how you turn it into jewelry. But so I just want to show you that part. And now let's show you how to use some flowers. So with flowers, I'm going to use the smaller one. I'm going to add just a little bit as kind of a base layer, a little bit of resin poured directly into the mold. I have all these fun flowers over here. It's so hard for me to decide what to do. I think that I want to show you how to use these. These are, this is dyed hydrangea that is dyed this green color. It's like these little leaves. So I'm just going to pick off some leaves. Okay, and I love the look of natural items like flowers and leaves with glamorous things like gold flakes. So I'm going to use both of those. Question from D, do the mini silicone bowls come with the resin or is it sold separately? They're sold separately. Okay, so I'm going to take my wood stick here. I'm going to get a cleaner wood stick. I'm just going to dip the tip of it into the resin, the liquid resin. And then I'm going to use that to pick up one of the leaves and just place it down inside there where I want it to go. And keep doing that. I'm not too worried about the leaves being in a certain direction. I want them to look just kind of natural. And here is where you can just take your time and place each component exactly where you want it to go. You can leave and go make a sandwich and come back and it's still going to be liquid. You're not fighting the clock here. So you can come back to it and place it exactly where you want everything to go. All right, so I just kind of set those down inside there. Now I'm going to take some of this pretty gold and also place that kind of in between. And the great thing about using this earring mold, and all these demonstrations, I'm just making one earring, but obviously you would use both of these to make a pair of earrings. The great thing about this mold is you can make both of them at the same time. So you can make sure that they match in the way that you want. All right, so I'm putting as much or as little of these gold flakes as I want. Question from Glenna, can you use any type of silicone mold? No, you cannot. You have to use a clear silicone mold. If you use any type of opaque mold, as most candy molds are, it just does weird things. It doesn't cure well. The light can't reach where it needs to go. All right, so I have these things placed where I want. This is still liquid. I do need to fill it up to the top with resin, but if I do that now, if I poured this now, it's gonna push aside all of those things I just carefully laid down. So I wanna lock them in place first, and I'm gonna do that with the light. So I'm gonna do, this is kind of like a pre-cure. I'm just gonna let this go even less than a minute, and that will cure the resin in place just enough so that I can fill it to the top with more clear and it won't disturb any of the work that I've already done. As I said, you can cure this outside. So if you're crafting during the day and it's a sunny day, curing in the sunlight is actually my favorite way of curing, because I feel like there's no amount of UV light that can compare to the natural UV light that comes from the sun. I did see a question come up a little bit earlier about, can you use a larger lamp? You can. There are plenty of large UV lamps out there that are, this is 9 watts. You'll see UV lights out there that are 36 watts. What we found in our testing is the more watts isn't necessarily better. When you get a super high powered UV light, sometimes it can lead to smoking. Actually, you'll see like smoke come up because it's curing too fast. We've found that this 9 watt is just what you need. All right, so I'm taking more clear and just filling this up to the top. All right, that looks like to me that it is up to the top. And let's give this a final cure. Actually, I'm going to move this out of the shot while that cures so I can bring in another one of that same mold, because I want to talk about what these little things are here. So you can make stud earrings with those. Ooh. This is just like a little dome stud. It's very small, but and these were all made with glitter. But I'm going to show you how to work with that. So I'm going to put a little bit of clear in there. And because I'm just loving the way these flowers are looking, I'm going to do another flower piece. So here I have this flat flower. Ooh, ooh, they are very, very delicate. And so I have my scissors here. I'm just going to cut off some of these little flower blooms. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with my wood stick, pick those flowers up, put them inside this stud. Okay, and then on the back of the earring, I actually still have this from the very first earring that we made. Oh, and see, look, it started to cure just from sort of the ambient UV light. So maybe I want to mix up a new one. Actually, I'll use this. Perfect. This started to cure too. You can see this is what it looks like when it's halfway cured. But I'm going to use this liquid to fill the back of this with resin.
Stephanie, while you're doing that, there's a question that came in of how many earrings can you get out of one bottle of the UV resin?
Well, the small bottle, here are the 2 different sizes that are in stores now. Let me bring this up. So this is less than 1 ounce. This is 2 ounces. This is a very well-used bottle. But out of this small bottle, you can probably get, I would say in terms of pairs of hoops, I would say you can probably get about 6 pairs. If you're making small studs, you can get a lot more than that.
And then there's one quick question. Can you add fabric to resin?
I have not tried to add fabric. We have tried to use ribbon. Let me show you what happens when you use ribbon, because that's about as close to fabric as we've done. Here, I'm going to show you. This is from a Christmas class that we did. And so we made this earring in the mold. And then we tied a little piece of satin ribbon and then attached it to our earring just by using more resin as glue. And I don't know if you can see the kind of watermarking. You can see it right here. See, there's like a watermark there. That's what I think would happen with fabric. Now, if the whole fabric has that watermark, you're not going to see it. You only see it here because this watermark area is darker than the rest of it. So I absolutely use fabric, but the fabric might look better if it's fully encased in the resin. We had a question about some bangles. Grab the new bangles that we made, the new ones. Yes, bangles, absolutely. Here's a bangle mold. The ones that we made, the made ups. And I just dropped mine on the floor, but here's a bangle. So you can see here's the mold, here's the bangle. This one we did with dried flowers. Okay, this has gone a few times. This one I think went less than one time. So let's let that keep going. Question from Mona, do bangles come in different sizes? They do not. We just have one size, but we wanted to be careful that we chose a size that could work with a lot of different wrist sizes. So we tried to, this is not the super small bangles that you would find in like a junior jewelry shop. These are made for adult women. I don't know offhand the exact measurements of it, but we tried to get to a happy medium where it just wasn't too small, but also not too big. All right, back to our earring here. So this is ready to pop out. I'm just going to pop that right out. And this is what we have. Now I want to show you, can you see from the profile? See right there, you can see a little resin kind of sticking up. It's kind of sharp there. I'll show you how to deal with that. Again, with just like these are called nippers or wire cutters. I'm just gonna, oop, did you hear that? I'm just gonna nip those off. And if I have any other sharp areas, I can try to nip those off as well. And this is ready to put the finding on and wear. If you are making these to sell, you want to make sure that this back side is just extra smooth. So an extra step that you can do, and this is not necessary, but if you feel like you can't knock off any of the sharp edges, what you can do is just take more UV resin and sort of dome it over the top. And this will give you a super smooth back edge. It's self-leveling. So, you know, you saw how quickly I kind of put that on there. I don't need to fuss with it. It finds its own level. And I'm going to cure that again. So let's see if this piece is done. This is our little stud. Oh, this one, you can't see it that well, but there are some pink flowers inside there. That one didn't turn out so well. But here's one of our older made ups. So I would just add the earring back like I've done with exactly like the hoops. All right, any more questions? We're down to the last 10 minutes of the class. I want to make sure if you have questions, I want to answer them for you. I see someone showing me a bangle. Hello, bangle person. Hi, that's awesome. You just made that? That looks amazing. Oh, and hoops too. I love it. I love your excitement level. That's how I feel when I make something. Is anyone else crafting along with us? I would love to see what you're looking at. Now, once you try this craft, you're obviously going to love it and be super excited about it, enthusiastic like I am. I would love to see what you are making. So please, when you post pictures of your projects online, use this hashtag, hashtag UV Resin Craft. It's on the front of all of our packages. I check this hashtag on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you put this hashtag, I will see what you've made. I will comment on it. I love to see people's creativity. So please use that hashtag in your creations. I saw another question from Mona. If you use pearls on the outside, and then I missed the rest of the question, it went away from my screen. Felicia, can you read that back to me?
I can. Basically, she was asking if you add, actually, you kind of answered her question about how do you attach it. And that was you putting additional resin on there on the outside and if it would cure the same way. So I'm thinking once she puts the pearls on the outside of the resin using the light, exactly.
Yes. Yes, here, this is a pin. This is one of our very first classes that we did. We made this moon pin. This moon came out of a mold. Here, I'm going to show you the mold. Here's the mold. So this moon came out of the mold, and then after it was out, we added all of these pearls along the side. And those are just added one at a time by adding a little bit of resin on the side, using your wood stick to pick up a pearl, place each one. Actually, I placed probably 2 or 3 and then cured it. And then the next 2 or 3 and then cured it. And that's just using the resin as a UV adhesive. But look how pretty that is. I love this one.
And I do have another question from Amy. She's wanting to know, how do you combine wood and resin in a stud earring?
If you have a piece of wood that will fit in here, or any size stud, there are plenty of studs that you can make. You just drop the wood in and then put the resin around it. The trick is getting a piece of wood that will fit. And I will give you a little preview. Michaels does have some new molds that'll be hitting stores in March, where you get a custom wood piece that fits into the mold as well. And that's super secret, just between you and me. But be on the lookout for new molds that do have some wood pieces, because it's really fun to play with wood.
And also the question is about the metal. What type of metal is the studs, the stud pieces?
These studs, let me see here. These studs, usually studs are iron. And I believe these are iron. Okay, so I'm going to use this stud, put a little dollop out here, pick this up, dip this into the dollop, place it exactly where I want it to go, and lock it in place. I just think that, oops, it's moving. Oh, okay. Are the backs nickel free? They are low nickel, but they are not nickel free. I just love the look of dried flowers, something natural with something glamorous like glitter. The juxtaposition of those two things is just so pretty. Actually, here, I'll hold it this way so you can see the earring as I cure. Look how pretty that is. I mean, you would expect to see something like this in a fancy upscale boutique. Until now, you haven't been able to create this stuff yourself in a fast manner. You can see how fast this comes together. So if you are someone who makes things for yourself, for your friends, to sell for fundraisers, this makes a very upscale looking earring almost instantly. I made something similar, so I'll show you these side by side so you can see the two different sizes. All right, we have 5 minutes left. If you have any questions, please do submit them through the chat. I'm going to use these last 5 minutes to do a little bit of show and tell and to talk about cleanup. The first show and tell are some more bangles. Since I saw we have people making bangles. Here we use letter beads. We use all different color flowers in this one. Here's our rainbow sprinkles. Again, you can see those. And here we just sprinkled seed beads inside there. So really, with the skills that you've learned in this class, use your own creativity to put different things inside the resin, and it's like endless options. Okay, so for cleanup, I have my 2 silicone cups. The resin in here is kind of, I don't know, halfway cured, I'd say, just from sitting out on my desk here. The easiest way to clean up, I found, is just cure it. Just cure it inside there. Cured resin does not stick to silicone, so I'll be able to pop these out. While that's going, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell here. Here is, let me move this back. Here's a little piece that we made that's like a shadow box. Patricia has a question. Can we replay this video? Absolutely. Michaels will be uploading this video to YouTube, so it will be there forever for you to go back and refer to. So I want to show you that. I want to show you some also shapes like this, kind of 3D shapes like this, like these daggery shapes. We do have these. Let me show you. So these came from a mold that looks like this. And you can see we've given you the metal. This is a special metal piece. This is not something that you will find in a jewelry shop because it is custom made to fit the top of that. But look how fancy we can get here. And then you would just slide this on a necklace chain and you have a necklace. What else do I want to show and tell with you? Rings. These are just some glitter rings. Rings are made with this ring mold. So it has sizes 5. Here, I'll show you in the package. This has sizes 4 through 9. How did you make the shadow box? That is another mold. Here's that mold. This shape here is a shadow box. Let me see if I have another made up. Yeah, I do. And you could make these shaker charms filled with stuff from that shape. We've done some classes on the shaker molds. Every about 2 weeks, we're going to have another class for UV resin. So please join us. Our next class is on January 22nd. I think that should go up on the Michael. It might already be on the Michael's website if you want to sign up. But we're here doing it, showing you different aspects. So this class was more about molds. The next class we do is all about bezels. So this is a bezel. It's just a metal frame that you put your stuff inside. Instead of putting it in the mold, you put it in the metal frame. So we're going to show you all the different techniques about using bezels. All right, now this is gone for a little bit. Oh, yes.
I'm so sorry. One quick question. There's a question asking, can you use just a regular picture instead of printing it off on a piece of paper or copy paper? Can you just use a regular photo?
When we have tried with photo paper, similar to how resin does not stick to silicone, it doesn't stick to photo paper. It doesn't damage the photo or the paper in any way. It just kind of peels off of it. So depending on how you use that photo, yes, you can absolutely use it in resin. You're just going to want to, I don't know, kind of encase it in the resin because otherwise it will peel apart after it's done curing. Okay, so here I want to show you cleanup. I can just pop that right out and I have a clean cup. And this can either go in the trash or I could cut this up. Cut this up, put it back inside some other resin and make some cool effect with it. Here's this one. We're going to pop it out. If you're left with any glitter, because glitter, we all know, gets stuck on everything. If you're left with any glitter, actually the easiest way to clean this, you can do soap and water, but we found taking a little Scotch tape and just kind of like you're picking lint off of your clothes can get those little stubborn pieces of glitter out of there. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us. Once again, make sure you use the hashtag UV Resin Craft for all of your creations. You can find me on Instagram at Stephanie Menor Creates. Be my friend. I want to be your friend and I want to see what you're making with this product. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you the next time around.